Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalvin. Recently Blizzard made a few changes to Roll the Bones in order to make the ability a little bit more of an offensive ability. They changed Jolly Roger, adjusted Grey Melee a little, and adjusted True Bearing. Jolly Roger effects completely changed. The effect that a lot of people, I guess, somewhat dreaded, especially for the PvE community, the extra healing that it gave. No longer do you have a heal, they actually tagged on a little heal to Grey Melee. But I guess the question is, does this fix Jolly Roger, or is it still as an issue? Is Blizzard taking the right steps in order to adjust in Jolly Roger so it can be used for PvE and PvP? I'm really looking forward towards for PvP. Are Blizzard taking the right steps, or should we just scrap the ability together and just replace it with something much better? Let's get on to the video. So the buffs as they read, the buffs, I guess I'm calling them buffs more than changes because I feel like these are DPS buffs. First of all, Jolly Roger is a DPS based ability now. Grey Melee got buffed slightly, not really for DPS purposes. But also True Bearing got buffed, which is a huge DPS cooldown. It's a huge DPS advantage. So let me read the buffs that have happened. Jolly Roger change now reads, Saber Slash has a 40% chance to strike an additional time for the duration of the buff. Originally, Saber Slash has a 35% chance, so this 40% chance brings it up to a 75% chance that you'll hit a second time with Saber Slash and you'll generate a common point, which is a great buff, but I have an issue with it off the bat. But let's go on with the rest of the changes, and I'll explain you why I have an issue with Jolly Roger change. Grand Melee still increased your attack speed by 40%, which is fine, but also they tagged in a Leech for 10%. Now, Leech is basically means that for all the damage that you deal to a target, 10% of the damage will be a personal heal. And every time you heal yourself, 10% of that heal will also tag as an extra heal. So this isn't going to make Crimson Vow super amazing, but it is going to be, I guess, somewhat beneficial. I guess it's just a nice little tag in for the PvE style of maybe leveling kind of heal. It's really low and it's not going to make a huge swings in the distance in terms of, like, let's say duels. But then again, when people think of a class that's supposed to have a lot of healing, most people don't think of rogues. So everybody thought it was a bit weird that Outlaw rogues were healing a lot with Jolly Roger. So this change might be alright. The last change is True Bearing now refreshes the cooldowns by 2 seconds instead of 1, so they bumped it out by 1 second. At 3 seconds, the ability was OP. At 1 second, you could still find use for it. At 2 seconds, it's just like nice balance between normal and OP. It's a bit above average in my personal opinion. So those are the buffs that were changed to Roll the Bones, and I think it's a good idea that Blizzard is trying to make this ability, the whole Roll the Bones, even though it's RNG, that they're trying to make every single buff that it can give more of an offensive buff. Because, let's be honest, for PvP, Jolly Roger was super good. It was basically like an extra heal, and as long as you maintain it, and if you're lucky enough you get it back to back to back, it was actually kind of overpowered. With now Saber Slash having a 40% chance to strike additional time as a Jolly Roger buff, we are getting an offensive buff, so in a way it's a buff for Outlaw Rogues nonetheless. Because every time you open on a target and you maybe mark for death, Roll the Bones, which is what I like to do in an opener, whatever buff you get is going to be an offensive buff. It'll just dictate slightly how you should adjust your playstyle and how you should adjust your abilities. The only issue I guess that I can see from the change to Jolly Roger, it basically makes the talent of Swordmaster obsolete. Swordmaster is your tier 1 talent, it's your level 15 talent. It's a choice between Ghostly Strike, Swordmaster, and Quick Draw. Swordmaster increases your Saber Slash chance to hit an additional time by 15. Usually it's 35, to add the 15 extra increase is 50% chance, which I've been enjoying thus far. But with Jolly Roger, if you get the buff for Jolly Roger, the percentage would be increased to 90. While a lot of people would find a really good use out of this, I feel like it keeps a lot of the RNG that a lot of people just didn't want in the game continuing to stay in the game. Swordmaster increases your Saber Slash increased chance to hit to 50. Jolly Roger gets it up to 90%. That means there's still that 1 out of 9% chance that your Saber Slash simply won't hit. It was infuriating enough for people to keep rolling and rolling and rolling for the correct buffs, but now, what if you end up you're using Swordmaster and you end up getting Jolly Roger, and then you keep hitting with Saber Slash over and over and over, and you get that very much unlucky, unguaranteed Saber Slash proc that just never happens. Now, chances of that are very unlikely because it is a 9 out of 10 chance that it will happen, so I am looking kind of at the downside. And on top of it, I also do realize that not every single talent for the class talents or PvP talents will be viable in all situations. I personally have been rolling with Ghostly Strike. I think it's a great talent, I've been enjoying it, and even Quick Draw is another good option. So I completely understand that. I completely understand the counterpoints. I'm just trying to rationalize the change a little bit and just giving you guys my raw personal thoughts about how I feel about it off the bat. Now, do understand this, that this is overall is a good change. I think the change to roll the bones is great. I think it might be a good step in the right direction, but I guess it's not really a question of what do I think, it's a question of what do you guys think? Because I remember there was a bit of a controversy, if I may call it that, a bit of a controversy for all the rogues who've been playing with roll the bones, and it's one of them. It is a bit infuriating where you're trying to line up for a damage buff, but you keep rolling Jolly Roger over and over. It's like you don't need all the healing, you have a healer to heal you, you just want that crit buff, maybe even an attack speed buff, maybe even a energy buff so you can spam out more sinister strikes. So now Jolly Roger will always provide you an offensive buff of sorts. But in the end, it's a question of, did the fix roll the bones? Is it still broken? And is this the right direction that the Blizzard is heading in terms of fixing the ability? Or are they going in the opposite direction in terms of fixing the ability? And that's for you guys to decide. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. And again, let me know what you think about all the changes to roll the bones. I'll see you guys in another video.